Just making sure you can see me and hear me okay. We're back for a second Rock Licks workshop. Today we're going to be talking about technique and techniques that are important to develop for effective soloing, effective licks, things like that. And so we'll just give this a second here. Make sure everything's working. I know it's working on my phone on Instagram. If for some reason my phone would go out or something, you can always head over to YouTube or Facebook or something like that and join as well. Anthony is here. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. Michael Bay is here. Hi, Michael. Arno's here. Michael J. Worship Guitar Dictionary. How you doing? Daywalker is here. It's Stine time. Very nice. Very good. Okay, cool. We already have a lot of people. We already have, looks like almost 300 people. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, welcome to another Rock Licks workshop. This is Rock Licks number 2. If you missed number 1, you might want to go back and check that out. It'll be on, playlist or something on YouTube, I'm sure, that sort of thing. Hey, everybody. Christopher is here. Marshall is here. Stringed Up is here. Duke is here. I can't say hi to everybody because there's a whole lot of people here, but Dave's here. Just get you real quick. Josh is here. Ron Rice is here. Dave Funk is here. Awesome. Very nice. Frank Fish is here, James is here, Marcelo is here. Thank you, everybody. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about techniques that are kind of essential in developing your ability to play guitar, your ability to solo, develop licks, that sort of thing. So if you haven't seen the first workshop, I strongly suggest that you go back and check that out. And also, I want to remind you to check out the Rock Licks DVD course that I've just come out with. There's going to be a link. There won't be a link, I don't think, on Instagram. I don't know if the guys are putting anything on Instagram, but all you have to do is go to guitar-zoom.com and you can find out more information. But there'll be a link and stuff on Facebook and YouTube and that sort of thing for you to check that out. And then in a little while here, we're actually going to be giving away 5 memberships again. So with those memberships, now this does include Instagram. All you have to do, don't do it now, but all you'll have to do is when I give you the signal, and the signal is I'm just going to jam for a couple minutes, you're going to put a hashtag, which is the #, hashtag GuitarZoom, and you're going to tell us why it is that you'd like what you think the membership would do for you, why you'd like the membership. So we're going to give away 5 more of those at the end of this live session today. I'm going to name the 5 people, and I got to remember this because this is what I forgot on the last live session, is if you win, if you're one of the 5 people that I name, you're going to email support@guitarzoom.com so they can find you. Because we had 5 winners on Friday, and 2 of the winners we had a hard time contacting because we didn't know how to contact them. So if you are one of the 5 winners today or Wednesday or Friday or next Monday, because we're going to give away 5 every day of these workshops, remember, you're going to contact support@guitarzoom.com. Hey, Brian. Hey, Gene. Deborah is here. Richard G is here. Daryl is here. This is awesome. So anyway, enough of my chatting here. Let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do here, I've got a list of things that I'd like to talk about. I don't want to take all your time today because I'm sure you've got better things to do with your life, but let's just start by talking about a few things. So the first thing I want to talk about really quick is your guitar and your guitar tone. And I'm going to make this very brief because this obviously could be a workshop in itself, right? But having a guitar that feels good, having strings that feel good, having pickups that match who you are and what you're looking for comfort, for the sound that you're looking for, and then, of course, the amplifier that you're running into. I can't stress enough how important these things are because if you're playing a guitar that doesn't really feel right to you or it doesn't sound right or the amplifier doesn't really sound, it's hard to reach that level of inspiration. And I don't know that it's necessarily, to spend a bunch of money. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not asking you to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. But I'm just saying it's something to think about a little bit to try and get a bit closer to something that feels good to you. This guitar, for whatever reason, okay, it feels absolutely perfect to me. And it has EMG pickups, which is not for everybody, but they work for me. So for me, the first step in my ability of being able to play on a technical level is the comfort of the guitar and the sound that the guitar makes. The next thing would be the amp, but it really does start for me with the guitar and the pickups and that sort of thing. So what do we got here? Tom says, nice to see you at this Norwegian National Day. Hello, Tom. Happy Norwegian National Day. Sorry, I did not know that that was a thing, but now I do, so thank you. Dino is here. How you doing, Dino? It's nice to hear from you. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to talk about, everybody always asks about this, is picking. Now again, we could have a whole workshop on just down picking, but let me go through this a little bit for you. So when it comes to picking, what I want you to start with is understanding that you have really only two options when it comes to picking. You're either going to down pick or you're going to alternate pick. Those are your two choices. If you're going to down pick, okay, what I suggest is just the first thing before you ever worry about a metronome or anything like that is you just need to start developing comfort and control. Okay, and so, you know, if you're not used to what angle you're going to turn the pick at or that sort of thing, and I'll just kind of summarize this with this. Choosing the right pick, again, is very important. If you are trying to play faster, oftentimes a thicker guitar pick will benefit you because it doesn't get stuck on the string, but everybody is different. I've heard Paul Gilbert is using like really pretty light guitar strings right now, and he picks as fast as anybody. And I love his guitar playing. So it's not a all or nothing kind of thing, but understand that you're really trying to get through the string. You don't want to get stuck on it so the string or the pick is bending on the string. You want to dive right through there. I tend to tell people too, the sharper the point is, to a degree, the quicker you're going to be able to get through that pick, and you don't really want to dig in. You want to stay kind of on the edge. You know, if you dig in, you can get some super cool sounds, but it's going to slow you down. See, you get really great tones by pushing in that guitar pick. You can see how it changes the sound. Depending on what I'm looking for. So if I'm playing something that's heavy and I want that real kind of heavy crunch, I might push that guitar pick in further and get that kind of sound. But if what I'm concerned with is speed and efficiency, I want to back that off a little bit. Now, once you start developing, again, you can talk about, you know, supination and all these things, and that's all great. But I just want you to understand that when you pick, you're picking either from the wrist, from the fingers, or from the elbow, right? And for me, when I move faster, most of it tends to come from the wrist or a combination of the wrist and the elbow, but everybody's different that way, but be aware of that, okay? So if I'm playing slower, I get a lot of wrist happening when I play. Right, that sort of thing. I'm playing slower, I'm going to do a lot more picking from the wrist. If I play faster, then it tends to lock up a little bit more, and it tends to move more like this, okay? I tend to pick more as like I'm just turning my wrist just a little bit like this. And again, everybody's different, I'm just telling you, okay? So if that makes sense, give me 1 second. I don't want my phone to shut off on Instagram, so I may have to get up once in a while and tap the screen there, because there are people watching. Thank you for being there. Okay, so the next thing you do is you start developing a tempo using a metronome or a jam track or whatever. Well, I've got a metronome right here. Hopefully you can hear this. Okay, let me see. Looks like you hopefully can kind of hear that. Or, right? So when a metronome starts, you're either going to be playing with the metronome. I've got this at 120 beats a minute. So you'd be playing with the metronome, which would be like a quarter note, or you're playing twice per click, or you're playing 4 times per click. Now you can play 3 and 6, and there's all kinds of different things. And again, we only have so much time together, okay? But just understand that. So when I start this, you have got to figure out what the best tempo is to work on what you're trying to do. Now, I'll show you that just a little bit here. And again, I don't want to take the whole time with this because there's a lot of stuff I want to tell you about, a lot of stuff that I think it will benefit you. So I'm going to start it again at 120. Might be a little harder to hear on Instagram. So I could do this. If you're on Instagram, I see somebody says I don't see anything on Instagram. If you go to Steve Stine Guitar, that's where I'm going live right now, is on Steve Stine Guitar. So I have a couple different Instagram pages, but I'm on Steve Stine Guitar right now, so that's where I am. So I could do this. Okay, but that's not really going to get me to my speed. What I need to do is start playing eighth notes. And that's where I need to start working from. Now, you could move into 16th notes. Again, we're talking down, so this is going to be a little fast here. I don't know if I'm warmed up for this. Right? But that's where we get into alternate picking, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So what we want to do is start figuring out where we want those downs to be. So let me start bumping that up for you, okay? I'm going to bump this up. I'm going to go up to, where are we at here? Well, we don't want to be at 220 yet. Let's go down to 180. There we go. So we're at 180. Right? So that'd be at 180 doing what we would consider a quarter note. Now here's eighth notes. Okay, so now that is a more applicable workout for me for doing eighth notes, okay? Setting it right around 180, maybe 190, something like that. Again, it doesn't have to be my peak ability. I just need to get in there and start developing, right? So what I want you to understand is when you first start working with the metronome, you've got to mess around with that a little bit, and I would always recommend that you start with eighth notes, 2 per click, as opposed to doing 1 or 4. And if you're going to do 4, you're going to have to back off the tempo, you know, maybe you're at 100 or something like that. So you have to figure that out. But if you start with 2 and, you know, just start trying to work your way into it. So right now, again, I'll show you 180. And as I do that, I need to keep reminding myself to relax my muscles from my neck, my shoulder, my arm, all the way down. Just keep trying to relax a little bit. And as I develop this, now I'm doing down strums, right? We're going to get to alternates in just a second. But as I'm doing these down strums, maybe I start developing something I'm going to do with it, right? Maybe I start playing a scale, like a pentatonic scale. So if I was doing this. Whatever it is, right? You might just take 2 strings. It's a little quiet for me over here, but... See that? So the first step is don't worry about adding in a bunch of fretting stuff because it may slow you down. If you're just looking to try and develop the art of picking, you want to start by doing those down strums, and you can do them without a metronome. But then bring the metronome in, start working with 2 per click, which we're calling eighth notes, develop that, and find a tempo that works for you. And then what I always tell people is it's not really beneficial if you only do it for 5 or 10 seconds. I have what I always call the 2-minute rule. So what you do is for 2 minutes, you play along with that tempo that you've decided on with your down picking, okay? If you can't do it for 2 minutes, you should slow the metronome down just a little bit. You can get through the 2 minutes, and it might kind of get painful. Let me fix this again. It might get a little painful, okay? But you're going to get through those 2 minutes. So you want to make sure you get through the 2 minutes. If you can't make it through the 2 minutes, slow down the metronome a little bit. So let's just start there and work with that, okay? So now let's say we started doing alternate picking. Now alternate picking is a little bit different because with alternate picking, what we want to do is we think the guitar string, right? Here's the guitar string. And what we're going to do is we're simply trying to go from the top of the guitar string to the bottom of the guitar string. We don't need to strum it like a chord. We don't need to move this much. All we want to do really is move from point A to point B, right there. And again, if you think about just staying on the edge of that, the pick and the string, and you can start off by just practicing what we call tremolo picking, which is just picking as fast as you can, focusing on consistency of picking and consistency of volume, right? So as you're playing, try and get both of these to kind of level out. See? And then as you do that, then again, start relaxing. just keep relaxing, and you're going to start realizing that, again, maybe you're moving from the elbow, right? Maybe you're moving from the wrist. Everybody's a little bit different, but you just start kind of locking into that. And what I always remind people too is don't try and from day to day, don't try and start at the fastest spot that you left off yesterday or 2 days ago, because you're just going to be disappointed every time. Work into this stuff. Start a few beats lower, and always remember that it isn't just trying, it's like running. I used to be an avid runner before I hurt my feet. You need to work into it. You need to stretch out. You need to warm up, that sort of thing, before you just tear out. Because if you just take off, a lot of times you can hurt yourself. So with this kind of stuff, you want to really think about just relaxing everything as you play. Right? And it doesn't matter what string. But just stay small and try and stay relaxed as much as you can. Okay, now if we go back into our metronome, I'm going to drop this back down to 120. Because for me, 120 is kind of a good place to start when I first start for the day, and I just kind of get warmed up. It's not my maximum speed, but it's just a really general place for me to start. So let me get this to 120. There we go. Okay. So I might start here, and I just start, again, pentatonic, diatonic. If I was doing pentatonic, I might do something like this. Or just take 2 strings. And again, you don't have to go this fast. I'm just trying to show you so we can move on to the other things we're going to talk about here. What I used to have students do is things like this. I'd have them go like this. And what you do is you just move the whatever pattern you're working on, you just move it up. So if I'm going... Right, just over and over and over, just move that up as you go. It doesn't matter what it is. You might do a 4. Whatever it is that you like to do. So again, all of this stuff is great stuff to prep for, to learn how to play more effective, like with the Rock Licks DVD course, which I know there's a link up there somewhere they'll show you if you're interested. Because as we keep going, remember, Wednesday I'm going to go live again. We're going to be talking about some licks. Friday I'm going to go live again. We're going to talk about developing a solo. And then Monday I'm going to go live and we're going to have a Q&A. All celebrating the launch of this guitar course. So make sure you check it out if you get a chance, please. That would be awesome. Okay, and just a little bit here, we're going to do our membership giveaway where I give you the sign. Okay, so let's keep going just a little bit. So if that kind of helps you, let's keep going. So we're going to move on now. We're going to talk about palm muting. That's another thing everybody always asks about. So palm muting. Palm muting for me is when you take the karate chop part of your hand, okay, and you set it right where the string and the bridge meet. Now, if you listen, and again, you have to use your ear. If I move too far one way or the other, it's not going to sound right. If I move too far, I don't want Instagram to go away just yet. If I go too far this way, okay, you won't hear a palm mute at all. If I move too far this way, I'm going to get way too much palm mute. But all I'm doing is I'm not pressing, I'm not pushing hard or anything like that. I'm just touching the string. See, you just get some really good sounds like that. Okay, so palm muting, just setting this part, just the karate chop part right where the bridge and the string meet. And then you just have to explore a little bit. Like when I play, my wrist is dropped like this. I'm not playing up like this, or maybe you do. I have a tendency of playing pretty flat like this. So you have to use your ear to kind of figure out where that is. Led Zeppelin, Jason Carter just said Led Zeppelin, so I'm going to mention that. Thank you. And the reason is because when I play, I don't really get necessarily a palm mute like somebody that I'm trying to emulate. I just get what I get, and I play the way I play with the tone that I play. And I'm good with that. So if I was going, chances are I'm going to have more of a Metallica style palm mute, because that's what I play. That's what I grew up doing. Even though I'm playing Led Zeppelin, my palm mute is going to be my palm mute. Now, I'm not saying that that's the same for everybody, but I just play the way I play. And that's what I want you to do too. Play songs and play whatever you like, but don't be afraid of playing it the way that it works best for you. Because that's how you add your own kind of personality into the things that you do. You know what I mean? Where mine is certainly going to be a little bit heavier, but so is my guitar tone and my pickups and all that sort of thing. They're all going to make a difference that way. Okay, so that's palm muting. Let's move on to pinch harmonics. Okay, now pinch harmonics are something that people ask about all the time. And the big thing with pinch harmonics is all that's really happening is it's coming from your picking hand. Okay, it doesn't need all this bending and different things like that. You can add all that in and it's fine, but the harmonic comes right from the turn of the pick. So what happens, and you can even hear it. As I turn the guitar pick, you can hear the pinch harmonic wanting to happen. You see that? So what I could do here is if I turn up, instead of just picking the string with the guitar pick like I normally would, what I'm going to do is just turn the pick a little bit so my thumb is now touching the string. See that? Now you can hear it wanting to happen. Okay, so what's happening is the last thing that's touching the string is my thumb. The pick is going through at an angle, which is why you hear that scraping. And then the thumb is touching. Now, if I let the note play now, now there's different spots, and they're all kind of right around the center here, where this middle position pickup is, where I'm going to get different pinch harmonics. And your guitar might be different, and again, you might like one sound versus the other, or there's just one that's more prominent on your guitar. But see, it's done by just turning, so I can go from just picking normal see, you can turn it any time. So if you're playing a lick and you decide you want a pinch harmonic, all you do is just turn a little bit. You don't have to make some drastic change. You see? So it's a really nice way of learning how to do that. Now again, I've got distortion on, and I've got EMG pickups. All of these things lend themselves very nice to a more dynamic... I gotta keep turning this up. I don't know if Instagram will go away if I let the thing go, but sorry about that. Anyway, those things lend themselves to a more dynamic pinch harmonic. You see? So that's, and again, it's the way I play. It's what I've always done. So my stuff is set up for that kind of tone. So if you're doing a lick and you decide that you want some pinch harmonic in there, you know, you can add it in at any point in time. So it's pretty cool, okay? All right, so we're in 22 minutes. Hopefully you're doing okay. I got a few more things. I'm just gonna go through a couple more. We'll do our little giveaway, and then I'll get some more stuff for you, okay? That'll give the guys time to find some winners for us. Okay, the next thing is legato tips. Legato playing is so important. And the way to effectively do this, and you can watch other videos where I talk about this sort of thing, but you need to develop strength in your hands. It's very important to develop strength in your fingers. So just to make this kind of easy and get us going with something, what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna do an exercise using all 4 fingers. Again, I have lots of other exercises that you can look up for this sort of thing, but what you can do, I'm gonna hold all the other strings quiet here. That's what I'm doing with this hand. I'm just holding the strings quiet. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a hammer-on and pull-off from the first to the second finger, and then the third finger, and then the pinky. And when I'm doing these, I'm actually hitting the guitar with my finger. I'm not just setting it down. I'm literally hammering, like the term says. And then when I do the pull off, I'm flicking the string. I'm not just taking the finger off, but I'm flicking the string. Now again, you don't have to do this really fast. I'm not trying to do this fast to be weird about it. I'm just trying to show you what you do. So as you play this, and as you do that, if you decide that there's a particular finger combination that should use more work, just practice that one. Galloping is when you play like Iron Maiden. It's palm muting. That's what it is using palm muting. That's what palm muting is. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. So with legato playing, that's one of the first things I do every day is just grab the guitar if I'm sitting watching the news, which I very rarely watch anymore. Usually it's some sort of cartoon or something that I'll watch in the morning, but I'll just practice. Just finger combinations, and then I might set my middle finger down, for instance, and go to my third finger. Or my pinky. Or maybe I'll set my third finger down and go to my pinky. Catherine says, is there a schedule for the live lessons? Yeah, they're Wednesday, Friday, and then Monday again at the same time, 10 a.m. Pacific. So we have 3 more yet to go. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I don't want to take way too much of your time here. Let's do one more, and then we'll do the contest, see who we can get in with a membership, okay? So one more here. Bending. Now bending, again, each one of these topics I could talk about for 2 hours with you. Every one of these, okay? I'm just kind of sliding through these so you've got some ideas of things to benefit you. But bending is really, really important. Bending and then vibrato, those kind of go hand in hand. So bending is when you take a note on the guitar, take a string, a sedentary string, and you bend it to another note in the scale that you're playing in. Okay? And there's a really important art to bending, and it really is being in tune. Okay? You can't be scared of this, because like when I used to teach private lessons all the time, I would teach these sorts of things, and students would have a really hard time dialing in the sound of the bend. And it really comes from the ear. And so, for instance, if I was doing, let's say I'm in A minor pentatonic, you know, whatever, okay? And I go to the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and I'm gonna bend that up a whole step. I'm bending from this note right here, okay? Just bending from that, it's a G, right? And I wanna bend it up until it becomes an A. So what I can do is check a whole step higher, and then I bend it until I hear the sound that I'm looking for. It's very important to practice that, because if you don't bend in tune, you bend out of tune. And when you bend out of tune, uh-oh, I might have lost my Instagram people. And if I did, I did. Okay. Hopefully you're still there. Anyway, so as I bend, you see, bending is so important, and there's lots of different kinds of bends. There's half-step bends and whole-step bends and 3-fret bends and blues bends and things like that. And then this is where, like a couple people had mentioned David Gilmour, which is absolutely true. He's one of my favorite people for bending and vibrato. You know, I'm not like the biggest Pink Floyd fan in the world, although I do like them, but I just love his ability of doing these things. But if I add a little reverb and delay to this, you see, it really adds another dimension to this. Okay? Now, vibrato is kind of like a bend, where a vibrato is just a smaller thing. And what you do is you think about, again, the note being static, just right there. And then what you do is you start turning like you're turning a doorknob. And I turn toward the floor. Some people turn toward the ceiling. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the string and I'm just bending it I'm just pulling it a little bit so it's out of tune. It really is. And then it comes back in. So it goes out of tune a little bit, comes back in. You see? And then you can decide how wide you want that, or how fast you want that sort of bend, or that vibrato, excuse me. And bending and vibrato really do go hand in hand, because you might do a bend and a vibrato on the bend. You know, that sort of thing. You see? It sounds really neat. So bending and vibrato, two more things. If you struggle with those at all, I highly recommend that you study them more and really, really get comfortable with those. So again, I'm just touching on some things to get you going here. So let's go ahead, and now would be a great time to do our giveaway. So what we're going to do is, as soon as I say go, don't do it until I say go. As soon as I say go, I want you to type in hashtag GuitarZoom, space, and then whatever you want to say. Why is it that you want a membership to our GuitarZoom membership, which gives you, there's tons of videos in there to talk about all exactly what we're talking about right now. There's tons of videos that talk about exactly this, okay? So we're going to give away 5 of those. So what I'm going to do is, while we're doing this, I'm just going to jam a little bit because there's nothing else for me to do. So I'll play along with that thing, okay? So here we go. Ready and go. Hashtag GuitarZoom. Tell us why you want a membership. They'll pick 5 people. I'll just jam here for a little bit, okay? Here we go. Okay, so I am enjoying some of these. So, well, there we go. So keep them coming. You can go ahead and keep them coming. I'm just going to keep moving on here, but you can keep them coming. Yeah, I'm just having a hard time keeping Instagram going here. It keeps wanting to shut off on me. I don't know what to do about that. So yeah, keep them going. That's fine. I'm going to keep talking, and we're going to keep going. And then at the end here, we're going to pick 5 people. Remember, if you are one of the 5 people who win, you need to email support@guitarzoom.com. Please, please, please. If you win, if you're one of the 5 people and your name is called, email support@guitarzoom.com and say, I'm a winner or something like that. They'll figure it out because we'll already have your names. Okay? Let's see here. The time project says... Oh, no, that isn't the one. Whoop. There we go. What do you use to play your backing tracks? To play my backing tracks? If you're talking about the app, there's an app I use. What is this thing called again? Resonic Pro. And the reason I use it is because I can pull samples out of it and do different kinds of things like that. It tells me all the information about the wave files and things like that. It's not a big deal, but that's what I'm using is that. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and keep going here. So we talked about bends, we talked about vibrato. Another one of my favorite things in the world is sliding. use sliding all the time. Now, sliding for me, there's really two different kinds of slides. You may have heard me talk about this. There's the airplane slide, which is a slide when you slide from nowhere. Okay, and I call it an airplane slide because I always think when a plane is landing, you don't know exactly where the wheels are going to hit. You're just hoping to God that they hit correctly, and we all live, right? If you're me, I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of flying, but that's an airplane slide. So when we do an airplane slide, we're not hearing that first note. We just want, it's like a ghost slide sort of, where it's just sliding from nowhere, and all of a sudden, boom, here we are. Okay, so that's an airplane slide. And then the next one is just a normal slide, a dedicated slide, okay, a purposeful slide. And that's when we're sliding from a note to a note. And I do a lot of back and forth slides, reverse slides like these, or forward slides, or what I call back and forth slides. You know, I do a lot of that kind of sliding. I just love the sound of it. I just thought of something. You're going to have to give me a second. I'm going to have to pull up. I did this last time too. Here's what I need. I can't get the winners if I don't have that screen open, so I have to see who the winners are here. So once they get them, I will let you know who won one of the memberships, okay? So sliding. Let me keep going here. Okay. Now, in order to do that, like if you're creating licks that move you across the fretboard this way, which is what I love about sliding, is it almost has more of a piano effect when you play. And I love that kind of sound as a... See? So I make lots of different patterns. You know, licks like those, they're all in that Rock Licks thing. Most of the stuff that I'm doing right now is stuff that I do a lot, so they're in the Rock Licks course. And a lot of the licks use sliding. Like if it's some sort of a more elegant lick, like that one I know is in the book or in the DVD that we're doing right now. You know, so I'll do a combination of those things where I'm sliding back and forth. Yeah, and Jason says sliding also gives vocal effect. Yeah, that's the thing about all of these are what I call vocal tools, which are hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, bending, and vibrato. And those are the things that really make your solos come to life, because when you play, you know, that's where that sound's going to come from. When you play, I'm not saying that can't be something great, because it can. You might go, and then all of a sudden you move into something else and you keep going from there. And, you know, so you might move, we're going to talk about this on Friday, but you might move from a lick to a more of a meandering idea and then kind of out of there. And all of these techniques are going to help you, okay? So if that makes sense, let me see if we have our winners yet. And there we go. Winners, yes, Matt. Thank you, Matt. Okay, we've got our winners. So our first winner is Kevin Hathorn. So if you're out there, Kevin Hathorn, did I just see you? No, I didn't. Kevin Hathorn from Facebook. Tim Saxton from Facebook. Okay. So if you're out there, say hello, because I want to know that you actually got this. So Kevin Hathorn, Tim Saxton. The next one is Myron Fernandez. Myron Fernandez from YouTube. And then Jonathan Bree, B-R-E-I, from Facebook. And Jason Carter, which I think I just talked to Jason. Jason Carter from YouTube. Okay? Jason Carter, there you are. Okay? So those are the 5 winners. Remember, email support@guitarzoom.com. But remember, if you didn't win and you want to try and win, we're going to give away 5 more on Wednesday, 5 more on Friday, and 5 more on Monday. Okay? So we still have room for a lot of winners yet. Okay? So there's a lot of other techniques we can talk about. Okay? But I just want to get you going here so you've got some things to think about, because the better you develop your picking, which is down picking, alternate picking, sweep picking, which we didn't really get to today, different kinds of things like that. The more you develop those, by far more important is down picking and alternate picking, by far more, because that's what you use to play songs. That's what you use to play riffs, things like that. And then moving to the other hand, doing a lot of legato work, building the strength and the stamina and the dexterity in those fingers are just very, very, very important, okay? And then from there, the vocal tools, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, bends, vibrato, all those things. So when you go to play, we didn't talk at all today about visualization of the fretboard or your understanding of scales and modes, things like that. And those are all really important too, okay? But it's just, if you think about the order of things, it's not that things have to be fast. When you play, let me pull up this jam track again. I struggle all the time with finding a balance between slow and fast because I love all of it, right? But it doesn't have to be fast. I mean, if you just play, like this. Whatever it is you like. If you build a lick, whatever it might be. Whatever. You decide how fast you want it to be, right? That's entirely up to you. For me, it's hard for me to change who I am because I just play the way I play, and I'm always trying to add new ideas in, things like that. Can I do a lesson? Can you also make a lesson on, well, we just talked about pinch harmonics earlier in this lesson, Knav. So if you didn't see the beginning of this, I did a lesson on, that was part of our discussion today. So anyway, hopefully that helps you a little bit. Join me on Wednesday. I don't remember what Wednesday was going to be. And check out the Rock Licks DVD, please. There's going to be a link real quick here where you can check that out. Wednesday, you can try and win again. We'll have 5 more winners for the membership. What was Wednesday? I think licks. I think Wednesday we're going to be talking about learning some actual licks from the course. I think that's what we're doing. How about tremolo picking for long periods of time? Well, you can work on it as long as you want. I'm reading some of the comments here, by the way. I'm not just talking out of my head. The big thing is it's utilizing your time wisely. I mean, if all you do is practice, tremolo picking for an hour, that's fine. But maybe you could have used some of that time for some other things that you could have worked on too. You know what I mean? This is the Hughes and Kempner right now. I'm using the Kemper right now, but I've got you can't see it down here, but I've got the Amp-Man hooked up. I was doing some recording with the Hughes and Kempner Amp-Man Classic this morning. So I'm sure I'll be using that sometime very soon here as well. So anyway, all right, take care, everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody's questions and things like that. It was just way too, I think we have like 500 or 600 people on here right now. So, but stay positive, take care, and I'll talk to you Wednesday, okay? Same bat time.